Hi everyone, this is Tendeka Igwara. I would like to welcome you all to Mathematical Principles to Computer Science. And today I want to look at this topic, rational expressions. So that's the topic for our day. What is a rational expression? These are fractions. These are fractions these are fractions with a polynomial. These are fractions with a polynomial either in the numerator or in the denominator. So now the question is, what is a polynomial? Let me start with a nomial. A nomial is just a term. A nomial is just a term. Like 3x is a term. That's a nomial. So when you say a polynomial, which means many terms, so I can have 3x plus, can I say plus 2? 3x plus 2. So that's what it's a polynomial. So we are saying a rational expression is a fraction with a polynomial on the numerator and on the denominator as well. There we go. That's a rational expression. It's a fraction with many terms, both in the numerator and in the denominator. Right. Now, how do we deal with rational expressions? So the first step when dealing with these rational expressions, you need to find the domain of the expression. Now, the question is, what is a domain? A domain, in simple terms, it's a set of all possible values. Of the variables. A set of all possible values of the variables. Of the variables. So the first step which you need to deal with is you need to find the domain of the expression. And normally we concentrate on the denominator. We need to find the domain of the denominator. Why are we doing this? Because the rule says that the denominator of this expression must not be equal to 0. The denominator of this expression must not be equal to 0. Otherwise, if it's equal to 0, what will happen? This whole thing will become undefined. This whole fraction will become undefined. So what we want to do is we want to find all possible values, and we want to avoid those values which will result in this term equaling to 0. So how do we do this? We just do a simple workout like this. Say x minus 4, we just equate it to 0. X minus 4, that's the denominator, is equal to 0. So we are saying what? X is equal to 4. Why? Because we're taking 4 to that other side. So we're taking 4 to the other side, then it becomes 0 plus 4, which is equal to 4. Okay, so what are we saying now? We are now saying that if we say x is equal to, okay, let's try to prove. If you say x is equal to 4, so we're trying to prove, we are now saying what? 4 minus 4. So which means, if we say 4 minus 4, which means this denominator will equal to 0. So what are we saying now? We are saying we want to find all possible values which will result in this denominator equal to 0, and what we're doing now is we avoid those terms. We avoid those terms at all costs. So what is the domain of this expression? The domain of this expression is all values. Domain is all numbers. Therefore, the domain of this expression, domain is all numbers except 4. That's the domain of this expression. All numbers which you can use except 4. Why? Because this, if we have 4, we have our denominator as 0, and this will become undefined. So that is the first step when dealing with what? When dealing with rational expressions. You need to find the domain of the expression. need to find the domain of the expression. Okay, let's do this other one together. Let's do this other one together just to make sure that you understand what you're talking about. Let's do this other one quickly together so that you understand. All right. Right. Another one, let's say 5x squared over 25x. Then you are required to simplify this. So what's the first step which you do? The first step is you need to find, remember, the domain. You need to find the domain of this expression. So the domain, you now say 25x is equal to 0. Then you divide by 25, you divide by 25. So here we get what? X will be equal to 0. So what are we saying? Therefore, the domain of this expression, we are saying all values or all numbers except 0. So that's the domain of this expression. So after having established the domain of this expression, then you can now simplify, which means 0 mustn't be used anyway, otherwise this will become undefined. It will become undefined. Now let us simplify this expression. So 5x squared will be equal to what? Let's just find the what? The factors. 5x will become what? 5 multiplied by x over 25x. We have 5. So this is 25x. We have 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by x. Okay, so we find the common factors. So this is a common factor, another common factor, another common factor. So our answer is equal to x over 5. So that's our solution. That is our solution when you are simplifying this. But remember, the first step is you must get the domain of this expression before you simplify. Okay, now there is something for you to do. I want to give you something to do. I want you to go and work out this. I want you to give you something to do. You're going to simplify that. Okay, so it's x plus 3 all over x squared plus 12x. Okay, plus 12x plus 27. So what is this? This is a rational expression. So I want you to go and simplify this. When you simplify this, then you post it on the discussion board. Then we'll discuss about all the other possible values. But the first thing, remember, you must get the domain of this expression. That's the first thing. Then you continue with the rest. Thank you so much for your time. We'll meet in the next presentation.